Hello everyone, welcome to Marlin Chess Kids. Today I'll show the gameplay by Ermes and Dmitry, and this beautiful game complete with just 20 moves. And let's see how the game play. The game starts with the pawn to e4, c5, knight f3, d6, c3, knight to f6, trying to attack the pawn. And here the white play h3. After this, the black play e5, trying to gain control of the center, and here bishop to d3. Then the black continue to play a knight to 6-6 and develop the position. So here you have the first 5 moves and the position is equal, and here you have the opening of the Sicilian. Then the game continue with the white go for a short castling. After this, at this move, at the 6th move, here come a very nice idea from the black, and the black play g5, pawn sacrifice, and the idea is trying to gain control of the g file and attack the white with a pawn. So at this move, it seems that the pawn is a sacrifice, and if you use the knight to capture, and let's say if you capture with the knight, you can see it's a red color, which means you will give the black a better position. So let's say if you use the knight to capture, the black will be clearly better in this version because you can use the rook to attack the knight. And after the rook attack the knight, now the knight need to move away. And if you move the knight to f3, then here a simple move, you can just play a bishop takes the pawn again, and it will be equalized. And at the same time, the black will have much more activity to attack, such as this pawn is being pinned, and also can attack the rook. So if you move the pawn up, then you will capture the rook and be winning. And if you just play rook to e1, then the bishop will just continue to capture, and now you have an idea to attack the knight and attack the queen, and you have the open check. So at this move, you have a much more activity for the black to play. And if you continue to play king move away, such as king to h2, then the queen will continue to play a queen to d7, and the idea is to checkmate at h3. So example, if you play a move such as a rook to g1, then you have a queen to h3 checkmate, and the bishop is protecting the queen and control a square, and you have a very nice checkmate. So at this move, here you can see black is clearly winning in this version just with only 10 moves. So back to this position. After this move, let's say if you try to protect with the f4 pawn, then the black can just capture back the pawn and they'll keep on the attack. So if you use the rook takes the pawn, rook takes f4 pawn, then the rook will just capture the knight and be winning a piece in the game. And if you play a pawn to h4 to protect the knight, then you can continue attack with the h6 pawn. And now if you move the knight away back to h3, then here you can just move the pawn to d5, and you can keep on pressure the white and control the center. And now the pawn is attacking, the e4 pawn and you have able to fork the bishop and the knight. So if you use the rook to e1 to protect the pawn, then the bishop you go to h3, continue to attack the pin pawn, and here you can just capture the pawn or use the bishop to capture and have the open check, capture the knight and win the queen. So if you protect with the bishop to f1 and you have this situation, the black is controlling the game, and after this move the pawn can just take the pawn at e4 and attack the knight, as the rook cannot take because you have a knight protecting the pawn. So the knight can just move back to h2 and the black is clearly better, and at this position the black can keep on attack by playing a queen to d7. So let's say if you play an example move such as a3, then the bishop can just capture the pawn, and after the bishop capture, then the queen can come to h3, continue attack the bishop, and now you have nothing to prevent the pin bishop, and the bishop cannot be run away, and you also cannot use the queen to protect the bishop, as all these pawns able to attack the position. So if you move to f3, the pawn will capture, and if you move to g4, the knight will capture it. So after this move, if you just move a knight up, then the rook will just continue to capture and continue to attack the bishop. So the only way is to use the queen to capture, and here the queen will just capture, and this will give black the clearly winning game. So back to the position. So after this move g5, you cannot capture the pawn as you'll be giving the black more. So in the actual game, the knight to e1 was played, which moved the knight away. So back to this position, one of the possible move that the white can play is to play a bishop to b5, continue attack the knight, and if you move the pawn to g4, then the pawn will just capture and the bishop will just capture, and here the white has nothing to worry, and still the white is slightly better in this position. So in the actual move, knight e1 was played, and after this, rook to g8, trying to control the g file and do an attack. After this move, bishop to c2, then the black continue to play g4, and the black is better in this position, trying to keep on the pressure and attack. After this move, the white play d3, and this is one of the move that give black the better move. After this move, this will be one of the tactical blunder, because here you give the black to capture the pawn and win a pawn, and be able to pin the king. So after this move, the pawn capture and the black is winning move. And after this move, in the actual game, g3 was played. Then the black continued to play h5, trying to push the pawn forwards and attack the g3 pawn. as this is being pinned, and after series of capture, then you can just use the rook to capture the pawn, and it will be a very strong attack from the black. So after this move, f3 was played, and this is another tactical blunder which caused at g3 to be captured. So after this move, the rook just captured and is clearly winning the game in just 11 moves. And here the king has not much place to move, and in the actual game the white moved to king h2. Then the black push h4 to protect the rook and keep on control the square so that the white king has no place to move. After this, bishop e3 was played, and now the knight to e to h5. This idea is to allow the queen to come up and to play in the action. And here the knight moved to a3. Then bishop to e7 was played, and this is a critical path for the black bishop to play from f8 to e7 to g5 and to f4. And after this f4, you have the pin idea, and you after move away the rook, you have the discover check. So this will be one of the strategy that the black play, and after this move, d4 was played, and now the bishop just go to bishop g5. And here, if you just capture and go for the exchange, then the queen will just capture. And after this move, you have the check with the rook. And if your knight capture, then the queen will just capture it back and will be a checkmate. So, for example, so any move from the black, such as a pawn to b3, then you have a rook check, and if your knight capture, you have the queen capture and will be a checkmate. And if you don't capture, let's say you move the king down, then you have a knight to g3 checkmate. So after this move, bishop to f2 was played to attack the rook, and here the black play another sacrifice by playing a bishop to f4. And this is a sacrifice, and if you capture the rook, then the knight will capture, and you have the pin, and the knight will have a discover attack. So if you move away the king to g1, then the queen will go to the bishop will continue to attack first, such as bishop to e3 and check. And after this check, the rook just to block it, and here you have the pawn to h2 and check the king. And after king capture, then you have a queen to d7, and the queen will come to h3 and you're winning the game. So if you king back to g1, then the queen will go to h3, and the queen can go to h1, checkmate the king. So nothing much, you can defend this. If you just capture the pawn, any of this pawn, the queen can go to h1 and you have a very nice checkmate from the black. So in the actual game, after bishop to f4, the king just moved away to h1, and still the black is winning the game. And the queen goes to g5, keep on the attack. And now the idea is to bring the rook into the action. Rook to g2 and checkmate the king at h2. And after this move, knight c4 was played, trying to attack the pawn. And after this move, nothing much the white can play to defend the checkmate from being happen. And after this move, the black is winning and will checkmate in just 3 moves. I give a couple of seconds to figure out how the black will continue to play and checkmate the white. Well, congratulations for those who found the answer. And for those who like to enjoy the show, here are the moves that the black play to win the game. And in this game, in the actual game, the black move rook to g2. And this is another sacrifice idea. And after this move, nothing much the white can do to prevent the checkmate. And in the actual game, the white just capture the pawn and check the king. And here the king can just move to any of this square just to escape. But if you move wrongly, like king to d8, then the white will be winning by just capture the pawn at f7 and will be fork the king and win the queen. And there will be no checkmate at this moment. So after king move again, then the knight will just capture and will be winning the game for the white. So therefore, after this check, the correct move will be win for the black. And in the actual game, the black choose to play king f8. And here, the bishop goes to g1 to prevent the check. But now you have the knight to g3, and it is a check, and the king cannot be moved. And with this, the black win the game. And with this, thank you.